All right, this is the Story Series podcast where we tell the stories behind the people. Viri Maldonado, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm really excited to talk to you. So you are a luxury gift curator. So could you just, for a moment, just tell everyone, and myself included, what does that mean exactly?
So to me, that just means taking a little extra time to figure out what the perfect or, quote unquote, perfect gift for somebody would be. I feel like the art of gifting has kind of gone away slowly but surely. Like it's like the low hanging fruit that you just, you know what, I'm going to stop by and just get them a gift card. It's like everybody loves a gift card, right? But it's like when you have a gift card, do you ever remember who gave it to you? You have a ton of them.
You never do. And in fact, at the end of every celebration or, birthday or whatever, it's like you have a pile of gift cards. And you, at that point, you have to ask someone, were you the one who got me the, Target or this? Yes. And so you saw potential for what? Making the art of gift giving, putting the personal touch to the art of gift giving. What do you think is lacking?
I just feel that, that personal human connection of just being in the moment with somebody is just lacking a little bit, especially in these times. Like everybody just wants to get to the next thing. And I feel like if you take a moment and just be in the conversation, like I'm looking at you right now, and you're like wearing a green shirt. It's just an obvious note that, he looks great in a green shirt. One day, if it ever comes, for his birthday or whatever, a green shirt would look nice.
So actually, it comes from, like you said, being in the moment with someone. Oh, I love that. I think that's great. And I want to get into how you got there. So I like to start with origin stories. So if you could, where did you grow up?
So I was born and raised in LA, but specifically San Fernando Valley. So as a Valley girl, you might catch me saying a lot of like. So I apologize. I'm working on it, but it's just me. And it was a really nice childhood. I had a lot of brothers and not a lot of brothers and sisters, but two siblings and a lot of cousins, and we all lived like 5 to 10 minutes away from each other. So always somebody to hang out with. If we weren't doing homework together, we were playing. We weren't playing, we were going to the movies. It was just so much fun.
Yeah. And were you an especially creative child? Was there anything that you would do in terms of your hobbies that stay with you today?
Honestly, no.
No.
Not a creative child at all. I was convinced I was going to do something with numbers because every single time I would get my report card, I would always get 4s on everything. And I was just convinced, like, I'm really good with numbers till this day, like 3 times 6, 18, really good. But it's just something I always thought that would just be for me. But I just never thought I would be in the creative field.
And then as you were going through high school, like what were your interests? Did you have any idea what you would be going to college for?
I just thought I was just going to be an accountant, to be honest, because it just...
So you're really into numbers.
I love numbers. I was just so good at it. It wasn't until like in hindsight that you remember all these little things that remind you of like why you went the direction that you did. Like, for example, my mom, she would never take me to the movies just because she didn't like it. My dad would always take me and my siblings to the movies. And the one time she did take us, it was to watch The Grinch with Jim Carrey. And I was like 7 years old. So I love that movie. Like till this day, I'll watch it over and over again. If it's summertime, I don't care. Half Christmas, I'll watch it. And that just kind of became a core memory to me. And then one time my parents took me to Universal and we went through the back lot and you could just see like all the different movies being made. And specifically, The Grinch was there. And the set was there. It was like, obviously they were done with it, but I was just so fascinated how they made Whoville come to life. And it just kind of like stuck to me in my subconscious, like, wow, this is so cool. And after that, I think I kind of just had that itch of like, maybe one day I'll do this, but I had no idea how to get there.
Wasn't The Grinch about someone who like ruins Christmas and steals gifts, like and you became a gift curator? It's like, wait a minute.
Whoa, full circle.
I remember too, in middle school for me, the Universal Backlot tour was a big deal.
Yeah.
That was a big deal to see how movies are made. And I got that same bug of like, how do I be a part of this? So did that take you off your path of like, maybe I'll go into accounting towards something more creative?
So yes and no, just because I wasn't really exposed to too many different, creative fields. And what's funny is that I had a little bit of like an into the industry. My family, they own a catering company, but I was never at the lot. I was just like cleaning the trays. They would pay me to clean the trays and I would do that for them, but they wouldn't take me on set because it's a closed set. And obviously you can't really bring your kid.
So a movie catering company or a TV set,
Yeah.
film set. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they were around that, but I would never go just because also I was so young. It wasn't like, take me with you or anything like that. So I was always kind of around it. But like I said, in hindsight, you never really know until you kind of get to the end and you're just like, oh my God, like there was, a little nudge everywhere, but I just wasn't really fully paying attention.
And so what did you decide to do after high school? What was your path?
After high school, I decided to pursue accounting at CSUN, my local college.
Yep.
And I went there and I was taking classes and I remember just like hating it. Like I was doing well, but I hated it. And I was so distraught just because in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to be an accountant and I'm going to make a ton of money. And it's just like, okay, there was no plan B. Like I didn't think that far. And I just remember venting to my cousin who was also going to CSUN at the time. And then she was just like naming different departments or things I could possibly do. And then she says, well, we have a TV and film department. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like we have one? And she's like, yeah, it's like on the other side of campus. I'm like, oh my God, I've never set foot on the other side of this campus. I was just in the math department that's like completely isolated.
The boring side of campus.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, oh, okay. So I remember just like finishing that semester and then I decided to switch like immediately to TV.
So what about accounting wasn't grabbing you? Was it just the reality of like what you would be dealing with every day? Like you kind of thought about it, this could be interesting. Then you're there doing it and you're like, nah, actually it's not.
Exactly. I'm just like, and then also the rooms were so sad. It was, like you said, it was kind of foreshadowing. Like, do I really want this for the rest of my life? I just can't, I was just not inspired.
Those classrooms, you were like thinking that's what your office is going to feel like. And, the bad fluorescent lights. And it's like,
I was like, this is it for me.
Okay. Well, it's good that you found that truth at that time. And so you made a change into the I think same when I was at CSUN, I think it was called the RTVF, radio, television, film. I probably not called radio anymore, but that was the department for you?
It's called CTVA. Cinema,
CTVA. Okay.
Cinema, television, and visual arts. Visual arts.
And did you take to that?
Oh, I loved it. Oh my gosh, I ran with it. I mean, the classes were very difficult, and there were some times where I was just like, this is not for me. But no, I loved it. I love going to class, just learning about different storytelling and just production in general. It was just fascinating to me. For our thesis, I remember it being like the top 2 of them, and I was able to like write and produce it as well because you have to fund the whole project with your classmates and just make it come to life. And I think that was when I kind of knew it was just like, this is it for me.
And you were one of the 2 that got to do that. What was your project?
It was just like a little thesis where you literally make a TV series, like a pilot. So I was able to write that series and then we just made it.
And had you ever written before or?
I mean, it was just like the classes that we take before and you just, this is your assignment.
Right.
And I loved it and I would just keep going.
Took to it. As you're getting closer to graduating, do you have any idea of what your post-college life would be like?
I thought it was going to be super magical. I thought this was, as soon as I graduate, I'm going to apply and then, I'm going to get 5 offers. I don't know what I was going to be. I didn't even know I was going to start off as a PA, but I was going to start off as something and it's going to be magical. And I didn't.
No.
It happened.
No one was like, oh, Viri graduated. Let's.
It's
like, no.
And
what ended up happening? How did you find, and what was your first job?
So my first job was with Comedy Central for this show called Hood Adjacent with James Davis. I think it went for 2 seasons or something, but oh my God, it was brutal. It was brutal. And I thought it was normal.
What was your position? Just like a PA?
Yeah,
or?
I was an office PA.
Great.
So luckily I was just like inside the office. And then maybe like a week in, the executive producer needed an assistant and he really liked me. He said I was very positive and he liked that. So he's like, Viri, you're going to be my assistant. I was like, okay. So, yeah, he kind of took me under his wing in a way just because he was, just running the whole thing. And I would just observe most of the time and, get his lunch and run his errands.
Yeah. I mean, I did the same kind of thing. Like you just do anything to get in and be a part of it. And they just responded to your post, the Comedy Central job.
They're like,
just a random, that's great.
Yeah. Can you come in and interview? Yeah, sure. In 2 hours. Yeah, sure. I'll be there.
Typical. Someone dropped out. Someone got fired. We need someone now.
You got the job. Okay, great. And I just left super happy.
And they had an office here in LA, the Comedy Central.
Yeah.
And so what was that like for you? You get skipped up to be now the executive assistant. And are you learning? Are you absorbing things, while also doing a bunch of errands and things like that, whatever they need?
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of like bottom of the barrel job, which is normal.
Great, yeah.
Yeah, and you're just literally just absorbing everything that you can possibly take in and learn. And I mean, you can take it however you want. Some people kind of take it to heart and they're just like, this isn't for me. Or some people are like, I'm just going to learn as much as I can and just grow and talk to everybody. Something that somebody told me, I forgot who, but they said to always tell people what you want to do because you never know who's paying attention. So any chance I could get, just, oh, by the way, I'm a writer. By the way, I'm a writer.
Yeah, I think that's really important because I was given advice and I remember I was hired somewhere and someone told me, don't tell them you are a writer or want to be a writer because they don't want to hire writers. And he also wanted to be a writer, but he didn't say anything. And he got promoted, but to be like, he got promoted to some job that I thought, well, if he's like not saying that he wants to be a writer and he got promoted to some like assistant job for this executive, it didn't seem like, well, if he's like not telling people what he wants to do, maybe I should just say it because it's not like he, kept it a secret and then was suddenly rewarded with this great job. And I thought like the worst thing that they could say is no, but at least you're communicating what you really want. Because if you don't, I feel like over years, you start to go off the path because you're not actually telling people what you want to do. And if you don't, they don't know how to help you.
Exactly.
And so you took that to heart and just said, hey, this is where I want to grow and what I want to do.
Yeah. I mean, just like you said, you don't lose anything with telling people. And if they get offended or whatever, it's just like, okay, moving on. Next person. Won't tell you that anymore. But it was really helpful because that's what later on in my career helped me get to where I wanted to be anyway.
Yeah. And so how were you able to grow in that position?
So with a lot of these different jobs, because if you're a freelancer, it's kind of like, the end of the gig is the end of the gig and then we wait until the next season or, you just move on to the next one, but you have to build connections. So if anybody's watching that wants to be in TV, build those connections. It's like so pivotal for everything that you want to do. So, be friendly with people. I was very friendly with everybody and I would tell them what I wanted to do. And that kind of helped me just build relationships. I made friends with the other PA that was there for a while, but she really loved commercial land and she would tell me like, hey, you need to come to commercials because they actually pay for your lunches there. I was like, they pay for your lunches? Oh my God. So that won me over. So when she said, oh, after the season, I texted her and I was like, hey, if you ever have any gigs, like I'd love to help. And she invited me to do a lot of different commercials with her, music videos. So I just helped be the same role as an office PA, kind of stuck with that just because I wanted to move up to like producer, writer, or whatever. At the moment in my head, it was just like a writer. But then I kind of was noticing different jobs. And then I was like, I'd be open to producing. I'd be open to doing this.
Yeah, just getting exposed to more.
Yeah, I didn't really want to stick to just one lane. I noticed kind of early on because it kind of closes the doors just for everything else. And I feel like you need a lot of different exposure just to grow as a person and also to figure out what you like. I feel like after college, you're still very green in what you want to do. I mean, I'm a luxury gift curator now, so it takes you in the path you need to go anyway.
Yeah, and that was like me with animation. You don't know until you're exposed to something, and then you go, "Oh, this is what it's like." Well, this feels right also. Let me pursue this. Let me give this a try. And you can only do that if you're in it and out there just doing it, right? So what happened next for you? How did you turn this like PA for now commercials to your next gig?
So my brother, he eventually got into the art department. So he was a graphic designer. So like in, like say, for example, the show Fuller House, they have artwork in the background. So he's in charge of like making those graphics and just so that they don't get sued for, you know, somebody else's stuff. So he was in it, and obviously he would see me in this like struggle bus, and I'm just like, I want to move up. I want to move up. I want to be in like an actual series, and I don't want to just like be locked in for, you know, a couple of days with commercials. And he would send my resume to anybody that he knew, and eventually it landed me a job in Fuller House. And it was so much fun. Just being in the back lot for Warner Brothers is I mean,
that's cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was there for a couple months.
And what was your position on that show?
Office PA also.
Nice.
And that's when I was again like kind of noticing because now I'm actually on set for Comedy Central. It was a little different just because we would be like, it was from the start that they would be building the series, and we were on set, on location. So it was a little different. But when I was actually on set, oh my God, that was a moment for me where I was just like, this is it for me. And I loved it. And I was just doing anything to just absorb from the directors, producers, the writers, like anything I could just get into, because in my head, I'm like, I don't pay rent. I'm living with my mom and dad. I don't have any huge expenses, zero debt from school. So it's just like I have the luxury of soaking it all in and not having to get paid a significant amount of money right now. So I can do this right now. So I just kind of took advantage of that any way that I could.
Yeah. And did you ever like ask anyone on set for coffee, or just ask to shadow them or get in the writer's room or anything like that?
Oh yeah. I always shot my shot. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was like, I have nothing to like, they could just say whatever they want. Every time I would make friends, I would always tell them, hey, like whatever I wanted to be, like I would just say that. If it was the writers, I'm like, hey, if they get me in the writer's room, I can be in the writer's room and just absorb that too. So I would just tell everybody like, hey, I'm also trying to do this, or hey, can I shadow you for a little bit? And everyone has been very friendly to me.
Right.
So, and what I've noticed, I mean, throughout my life is that people just want to help. So if you tell them like, hey, I'm trying to do this, or hey, do you mind if I like, you know, watch you, not in a creepy way, but like if I would just like observe you so I can learn, they're willing to help you and like extend that invite.
Most people I found, if you ask for help, that they say yes, or ask like, say, hey, can I shadow you? And I think it's because, and that's just for most people, but it doesn't, you know, they were like that too. They needed to do what you're asking them to do. And so hopefully they don't forget that. And so were you always like very, what's the word? Just bold when it comes to saying what you are looking for without having that like, ooh, because some people are like, I don't want to bother you, but can I do, or were you just always like, hey, I want to do this. Can I watch you for the day?
Well, I think it's like yes and no. I ease into it. At first with everybody, I'm super shy, but then I just need like a little bit of hope. And then I'm like, oh my God, let me tell you what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
So but I mean, I also use that as like to feel them out. Like, can I tell this person? Can I not? Is today the right day? Is today not the right day? But
read the room, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're learning, you're absorbing. And how long are you on the show? Because that was multiple seasons, right? That it ran for?
It was a couple months there, and then we like do hiatus, and then you come back. Yeah, so we were doing that for a while, but it's in the industry, it can be really hard to just kind of scale. Like you really have to know somebody or just like get that opportunity. And the next opportunity for me was to be coordinator. And I was going to take that position. It was a lot of responsibility, but I wanted to, but also, and I don't know if you've felt this way before, but something told me not to. And I was like, I wonder like why I just like can't get myself to do it. But then I kind of like sat with it and was like, well, if I stay on this coordinator path, I'm going to be in this coordinator path for a while. And you don't want to, like, coordination is, and like all that other side is very, what's the word? It's like very technical, like
Yeah, what does a coordinator
planning.
do on
So,
a set?
so you basically plan from A to Z, everything, all like the scripts that need to be printed, getting the scripts, scheduling sometimes. It's just a lot of planning.
So it's a step up from PA, but it's more of a technical path.
Yeah.
It's not creative.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I noticed. And at that time, I just knew that if I stay there, I'm gonna stay there, just because you can't really go, oh, by the way, I actually want to be in the creative side. It's kind of like, well, why would you go on this side?
You can get stuck, or you can, a lot of people get stuck on a path, then it pays well or whatever, or it's consistent, and then it's years go by and they feel stuck. And you felt that early.
Yeah.
You saw ahead.
I just knew exactly what was going to happen. And I'm just like, if you don't make the right move now, you're going to be stuck here for a couple years because you get comfortable.
Sure. Yeah. And what was your decision? How did you make it?
I said, no, thank you. I'm going to go. just going to go over here.
So you said no.
Yeah, I said no.
Well, that's powerful.
Yeah.
To say no, sometimes you have to, right? To stay on your path. It's not, we're always looking for the yes.
Yes.
But sometimes you have to say no.
It was really brave of me. That's for sure. I'm like, oh, shoot.
No,
like, I really said no. Oh, my God. Like, and I told my mom about it. She's like, you said no? I was like, I said no. She's like, oh, okay. So now what? I was like, I'm not sure. We're going to figure it out, I guess. But yeah, it's funny because once I said no, and we were done with the season. Obviously, I wasn't going to go back. Because I was just kind of done with that, like, office PA, like it's kind of like done. And so I took a little bit of a break, and then this was probably around COVID time that I remember that there was, and it was kind of perfect timing because I just didn't really have anywhere to go. Nobody was shooting, nobody was filming. So it didn't feel that bad that it's just like, oh, I don't have a job. It's like, well, you can't have a job because no one is working. So it kind of helped my ego a lot, actually. So during that time, I remember I was just like peak kind of COVID. There were still some networks that were still working, but a lot of them were down. And then I remember getting a text from this guy I met years ago. And he was like, hey, Viri, are you still interested in like being a writer, or are you writing? And I'm like, yeah, I'm writing. I had like stopped writing. It was just like my very like personal, not personal, but just like for fun, just writing scripts just to like flex that muscle. I'm like, yeah, I'm still writing. He's like, oh, okay, perfect. Cause they're looking for like a writer's assistant or something for this new show that they're making. And I was like, okay, cool, send my resume. So I sent it over, and then the gig ended up being like an associate producer job. But again, like the boss really liked me, who like interviewed me. And he said, oh, this is actually an associate producer. So associate producer, you're basically researching. Like if it's a topic, like you just want to know the ins and outs of it to prep either the talent or the producer or whoever. So it's basically research. And I was just like, okay, like that'll be my next thing then. So he really liked me. He gave me the job. And then I was just working either from home. And then they slowly started to trickle us into the studio. And it was a really small network. So it was maybe like, 10 of us or something?
What was the production? What was the show?
This was the network. It's called Fuse TV.
Fuse TV.
So they were doing like their own little like segments, not segments, but they did have a like small TV show. And so we were going, but like I said, I always tended, like thinking back, it's like I always would ask people like, can I shadow you? Can I shadow you? Like, do you mind? Obviously not in a like weird way, but and then they would let me, and I would just absorb everything. And even if it was a day off, I would ask, can I come in? Is that okay if I just come in? Like, I promise I'll be like a fly on the wall. You won't even notice I'm there. Because they were very strict with the amount of people that were in the studio because of COVID.
Right.
So I'm like, I'll be as far away as possible, but I just like want to be there. So yeah, I would absorb everything, and people would notice that about me, that I was very like hungry and driven to learn and just be better. And they really liked that. So eventually when that show was over, they just asked me to kind of stay and go to the next one, go to the next one. Yeah, so I was just learning a lot in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, yeah, especially during COVID times too. And so you found that you were kind of taking to that role. And so how did that end up working out for you on that network?
Very well, because after being an associate producer, they asked me to, I was there like associate producer for maybe like, I don't know, 6-9 months. So I really learned that job very well. And then eventually there was an opportunity to produce/direct for a show. Since it was, like I said, peak COVID, the director and producer of the show, she didn't feel comfortable shooting. And I guess they asked, like the other story producer, like, do you want to go? And he said, no, thank you. And they were like, Viri, I think it's time for you to step up and produce and direct. And I was like, really? Are you sure? They're like, yeah, do you want to go to New York and just, produce and direct the series? And I'm like,
It's amazing.
yeah, in the moment. I was like,
and the fact that you were there.
Yeah.
And it's like, we need someone now.
We need someone now. And I'm like, can I call you back in like 20 minutes? He's like, yeah, for sure. But hurry up because we need to book your ticket. And I'm like, okay. So I remember telling my mom first, and I'm like, hey mom, they just asked me to go to New York. She's like, no, say no. It's COVID in New York. You've never been there. You'd be going by yourself and you're a woman? Like, no, you should say no. I'm like, but it'd be a really good opportunity, just like their offer, like they see something in me. Obviously, I'm doing something right. And she's like, I think you should say no, because what if you mess up? I'm like, oh my God, what if I do mess up? And so, yeah, she got really in my head, and I was about to say no. And then I went to go talk to my dad, and he was like, you should go. And I was like, but what if I like mess up? And he's like, well, then you'll just come back home. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm like, you're right.
It's a good balance between mom and dad. Mom is valid, and but they balance each other out.
Oh yeah. So yeah, he's like, well, just sit with it and just think about it. But I think you should really go. I was like, okay. It took me like 2 seconds. I was like, hey, I'm ready to go. Like, when do I need to pack? He's like, oh, you need to pack right now because the flight leaves tomorrow. We need you to shoot. I'm like,
wow.
Okay, we're doing this. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you fly out there.
I fly out there. I remember I was so scared because, like I said, like my mom said, I've never been to New York. It's COVID. I'm a woman, never flown by myself. A lot of factors. Don't know where I'm going.
A lot of just like forced to step up, or that's it.
Yeah.
Biting off like almost more than you can chew.
Oh, yeah. Till this day, I'm like, wow, you are brave, because that was a really, really tough job.
What were you directing out there? Right? Like, what was the series?
The series was just, I can't remember exactly the title, but it was just like a smaller series with an actress. She's a podcaster. Her name is Wheezy, WTF. And she just kind of goes inside this industry and she just talks the ins and outs of it. And so it's funny because my executive producer, who was like kind of telling me exactly what we need to do, we were doing everything via Zoom. So it was really difficult to just get everybody's vision and be on board.
Because they were all in California and you were the one in New York.
Yeah. So, and then I would see things that we needed to do as far as like production. And it was just wearing a lot of caps at the same time and just kind of going through. I was crying every single day.
You were?
Yeah, I was crying every single day.
Were you worried that you would get fired?
Yeah.
Or were you worried you're just not doing it right? Or
a combination of all these things. I'm like, oh my God, I could be fired. Oh my God, what if this happens? Oh my God, what if I get COVID and I can't? And then you like jeopardize this whole, shoot, because then we can't shoot anymore. And then we'd be over budget. It was just so many different,
a lot of stress.
A lot of stress.
New things.
Yeah, especially because, like you said, it's a lot of new things that I'm not used to doing.
And you delivered.
And I delivered, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and what did you decide after that? To continue, or were you like, I'm good?
I was like...
exhausted?
I was like, I remember telling my boss, hey, I think I'm going to need like 2 weeks off. They're like, yeah, no problem. I was like, yeah, that was really, really stressful. But it turned out in my favor because I was asked to produce one of their very successful series that they had. And so I was doing that for a while. And then after that, they kind of offered me, not they kind of, they offered me a job as their development producer, which is basically thinking of different shows and then pitching them to the network and seeing if they would greenlight them or not. And that was a lot of fun because like now I'm really a creative, not just like getting coffee or anything like that. Like I just create the shows in my mind and then pitch them to the network. And if they like them, cool. And if they don't, they don't.
Yeah. And so that was kind of what they had for you after going through this experience. Then they brought you on as a creative.
And full-time too, because I was doing that freelance and it was like a very like, you know, the industry, they can just, okay, we're done. But,
oh, definitely.
Yeah, but they gave me a full-time contract. So I was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so you're coming out of that. Clearly you did something right.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God. Yeah. I was like, wow, you shouldn't have been so hard on yourself. You didn't need to cry every single night.
Right.
But,
and so what was that role like for you and how long were you doing development?
I love that role, except my boss, he ended up moving to another company. And so I was learning from him for maybe like 2 months before he was like gone for good. So I had another colleague also work with me, but she was more of like admin. So it was kind of just like me thinking of different stories. And as a creative, you kind of need other creative people.
You do, just to bounce off, right?
Yeah,
To brainstorm together.
Like, does that sound like a good idea? Should we just not go through with it? So he was there when he was there. Like, it was awesome. He would be able to give me feedback. How can I be better? Because like now talking about it with you, I'm just the type of person that wants to keep growing. How can I be better? How can I be better? So there was no one really there to guide me if I was doing it right, if I was doing it wrong. And it kind of got a little boring, I guess, just because I can't grow. And I would ask, my immediate boss would be the VP of the network. Like, I can't really go to the VP and be like, hey, do you like this creative idea or not? Yeah.
More on his plate.
Yeah. He's like, the last thing I really want to know is Viri's, genius idea.
When did this idea of gift curating come into your mind?
I was just looking through my camera roll one day and then I just saw like photos from 2017 of bags and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make my own bag. And so I started like diving into this industry of paper goods, like not knowing anything about it, but I was just studying everything I could about it because I didn't know. So yeah, I started to dive in.
And why a bag?
Because I just saw that they were also ugly. No shade,
so
but
is that like the first impression of a gift is like how it's presented, how it's wrapped, or how it's like what kind of bag it's in?
Like, I didn't really think about it until I was like actually in it. For me, I just wanted to make something beautiful and just put it out into the world. But then once I started to study everything about gifting, it's just like you kind of have to make, from the gift, you took some time to really find something amazing and then you're just going to put it in this like rink-a-dink bag. It just doesn't connect. Like you just want things to be like flowing through. So it's like you took the time for a really nice gift. Could be expensive, could not, but then you just put it in this like luxurious bag. And I also feel like just giving a luxury gift, like a Louis Vuitton gift, and you just leave it in the gift, and not even a gift, it's a shopping bag. It's the shopping bag. That's very low hanging fruit. Like you didn't even take the time. It's like giving somebody roses, like from the grocery store. Like, no, take the time and arrange them nicely. Don't just do that.
And what do you think that does to people when you take that extra time? Why is that important to you?
To me, it's super important just because, like I mentioned before, it's such a lost art to take the time and give it to somebody. Like if someone were to take a minute out of their day or even 10 seconds to be like, hey, I thought of you today. Like, let me send this to you. It's just like, it just makes you feel so good. And I just want to bring that back to people that this person just thought of me in the highest way. And I just want to, honor them in that way.
Okay. That's so interesting. I want to get to your bag, but I also want to talk about just gift giving. So when I hear that you were a gift curator, I was like, okay, origin story. There's like, an old boyfriend who gave you like the worst gift and that put you on this path to be like, I'm going to, put put this art form back into people's minds. Like, did you ever get like a terrible gift and you were just like, what is this?
Oh yeah.
You did?
Oh, many times. And I'm just like, I would never like do the immediate feeling, and I'm sure this happens to everybody, like when you get something that doesn't resonate with you at all, you're just like, is this a regift? Like, what is
Yes.
this isn't me at all. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? And it just doesn't make, at least me, I don't want to feel ungrateful or anything, but I just feel like weren't really thinking about me. You were just kind of like, this is just gonna suffice the task.
Uh-huh. So what are some like do's and don'ts of gift giving?
I would say like my slogan is we're breaking up with gift cards. Not that I don't like them, but those are for certain people, like a coworker that you don't really know. Let's say you don't really know them. Just get them. That's fine for me. Or yeah, someone you just don't really like, get them a gift card. But everybody else,
it's easy.
It's easy.
Yeah.
But everybody else, I would really encourage people to just take the time to actually get to know people. That's how you know what the perfect gift is. And it's like when people ask me like, I don't know what to get them, then it just kind of hints that you don't really take the time to like actually be in their presence or ask them questions about them. I think that really sparks the connection between humans again. And I love that.
Because what is a gift really supposed to do?
Right.
Like you're putting joy, you're giving someone, it's not just like the object or the thing, but like the act of giving, right?
Exactly. And you don't want to just like, I got this for you. It's just like, okay, like what am I supposed to kind of do with it? But and I'm not saying it has to be something grand or expensive, but just the thought is what I think it just takes any gift and just makes it so memorable. Like you will remember who bought you something and you'll feel that every time you see it. Like it's just a feeling. And I think that's what is lacking definitely in this industry, that you just want to check the box off.
So when someone, let's say, comes to you, or maybe they're like, I don't know what to get this person, what kind of questions do you ask? Like, you noticed I was wearing a green shirt, so you kind of took a little mental check, like, okay, green, like, that could be a color that works on him. Like, what are some things that people can ask themselves if they're like confused about or stuck on what kind of gift they should buy for a significant other or something like that, someone like that?
The easy ones for me is usually, and this plays a lot with like astrology girlies, it's just like, what's their sign?
Okay, my wife is a big into that too.
Okay.
So, okay.
And it's not even
notes.
like, and it's not even as simple as just like, they're a Gemini. It's just like, there's a lot of layers to these different people. So there should be a range of different gifts that you can pick them. And then also it's actually very accurate. For the people that don't believe it, it's just like, you don't have to believe it, but it's accurate.
In what ways is it accurate? Like, what does it mean?
So it kind of plays into just like characteristics of a person. Like if they're not this, they might be like this. And if they're not like this, they might be like this. And then also with the astrology, a lot of them have different colors that either suit them or they like, and it's like kind of like unintentionally they like them. So I enjoy to play with that as well. So it's like Leo, they like golden stuff.
What about Cancers?
Like Cancers, that's my husband.
That's me too. So you know them because you know from him.
Yeah. Well, I know they're very emotional. So probably a journal.
Ooh,
a journal,
right?
write down all the emotions because we don't, they're stuck in there. I know they are. You don't want to tell us, but I get it. So I would definitely opt for a journal, a really nice pen, a really smooth one that you're going to like, a luxurious one that you would love to write with, because if you like it, it inspires you to keep doing the same thing. So I would do that.
That sounds spot on to me. Yeah. Okay.
It's little things like that.
So a sign is a great
like their
way
birthday.
into someone. So what other things about that you could pick up from people? Like you mentioned my shirt or colors that people wear.
Yeah.
What other things that kind of, because we see people, all day, but we just miss these details.
Yeah.
So what are things to look out for?
Well, there's a lot of different things that you can do. I noticed a lot, you could this is what I do a lot. If I don't know this person, like my husband would say, "Oh, I need a gift for so and so." So then I will ask for his phone and say, "Can I see their Instagram?" If I'm not
Ooh,
friends with them, and then I
yeah,
will see the things that they
yeah.
post often, or are sometimes tagged in. Sorry, and then I'll just kind of observe. It's just observations, like they go to this store a lot, or they're wearing this color a lot. They like this brand. You kind of can't go wrong with those small things, but it just takes you taking a moment to pay attention. And it doesn't take a lot. Like I walked in the door and then I saw this Star Wars little thing on the door. So
Oh
now
yeah, yeah,
see, your face just lit up. So you like
yeah.
Star Wars, I
I have
imagine.
a
I hope.
little R2D2 hanging from the doorknob.
Yeah. So it's like
That's
those
funny.
things, like, don't be creepy. I'm not saying be creepy. I'm
Right,
just
right,
saying,
right.
like,
Going through this.
observe, be in the
Yeah,
present moment. If you're not in the present moment, then you miss all these different things that are right in front of you.
that's true because people do. I mean, details when pointed out to someone are very meaningful. Like, hey, I
Hmm.
got this for you because I noticed this about you. It makes
Hmm.
everyone feel so much better. It
Yeah.
just does.
Or if they're starting something new, kind of honor that in a sense of like,
Ooh.
whatever it is. Like you're, if somebody's starting a new business, take them a money tree, it's for,
So something that could a gift that could align with their goals or
hmm.
ambitions.
I think those also strike a chord for people too, because it just makes them feel like you're actually really paying attention to what I'm doing. And it's important to you too. When you start to like observe different things that they're really into, that's when I feel people feel more connected to you. And like I said, it's kind of like that art of just being in the moment, being present, and actually soaking in the time with somebody that just makes people feel so much better.
Hmm. And going back now to the bag, so
Hmm.
that's how some ways to find the right gift.
Hmm.
But like you believe it has to be presented in a way that is also meaningful.
Hmm.
So tell me about this bag that this journey to
Oh,
to make the right one. And how did it
the
start?
the journey that I thought would be so easy. I honestly, in my head, I thought this is probably going to take me like 2 months to make, for sure. Maybe in 2 months. 2 months is like, you know, a little much to me. But so I started to take the photos, and then I just kind of observed different bags that I liked, either from gift bags or like from Target or Paper Source or something like that. And then I would also see the very high end stuff. And they're not gift bags, they're just the shopping bags, like Louis Vuitton's shopping bag, or Marc Jacobs or Louis Vuitton. I would notice like ins and outs of those bags and what made it special.
Mm.
I wasn't even thinking about luxury. I just wanted to make something nice that I would enjoy for myself, for my gifts. That's just like, oh, that I can tell that's a gift from Viri because it's very put together.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like, having gone recently to the Apple store and
Hmm.
the Apple bags. To me, at least, they seem really quality. They don't
Oh,
feel like, your typical bags. And so when you buy something and you walk out, you feel this it feels like a night. You want the bag and
yeah.
you don't want to throw it away.
Hmm.
That's actually, I realize now, a lot of that, it's like, it's a good quality bag. You don't want to throw that thing away.
Oh yeah, I bought some Apple stuff too, and I saved that bag to study as well. And I was like, what makes this bag so special? Why do I like it so much? And it's not
Yeah.
even a like super to get into it. It's just like I dissected the whole bag, all the
Yeah.
bags that I really liked, and studied it from head to toe.
So,
What made it special? Like,
yeah, please. I'm so interested. What does make it special? What are some characteristics you noticed about a bag that goes, oh, this feels a little better? Because
hmm.
it's based on a feeling in our
Hmm.
hand and to touch.
Hmm.
So what are some of those characteristics you found?
Yeah, so I wanted to play on the psychology of it. I first held like a really cheap dollar bag. How did that make me feel? And then I felt like a Louis Vuitton shopping bag. Like you just feel the luxury right away. And the feeling of just something that's high quality.
Is that material,
The material,
weight?
especially, you'll notice that the handles immediately once you hold it. And then when you open the bag, you notice the feeling of something sturdy when you open it. And a lot of companies that are a lot cheaper, they will not invest in like adding some cushion there to make it sturdy. Or they'll like cheap out and they'll add a very thin like cardboard in there. But
Because
I,
is it supposed to stay open or how is it supposed to?
yeah, well, it depends. If you want something a little bit more high end, it's supposed to stay up by itself. because my intention was you can put anything in there. It could be heavy. Don't want it to be super heavy, but I want it to be sturdy enough for you to feel confident that it's not going to tear. It's not going to, wrinkle or anything like that. So I studied that. I studied if there was any pockets. I've always wanted to put like a birthday card in one of the pockets, and there isn't one.
There isn't any birthday pockets,
No.
right? Or birthday card pockets in
No.
bags. And it's like, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think I had seen one recently from Paper Source, but this was before like I was in making a prototype for it. So I was like, cool, they beat me to it, but it's fine. So
But that's fascinating because every gift really has a card,
Yeah.
and there is no spot for it. You just throw it in under the tissue paper or whatever, or on top of the tissue paper. I
Yeah.
just realized that. And so
So I
you think
added-
that that's important.
yeah, I added a little pocket. It was really important to me. So I was like, it needs a little pocket.
And why is it important to you?
I just feel like everything needs I'm very like organized.
That's your associate producer,
Yeah,
like
that
director, production
I'm
background.
like, everything needs its own place. So I'm like, I don't want to be digging around. I don't want,
Right.
the customers to be digging around. Like, who's it from?
That makes
So
sense.
as its little pocket, like, oh my God, this is from so-and-so.
And what about the psychology of the card?
So the card, I also made my own luxury stationery because I also noticed that the industry is kind of cheaping out on these things as well. And I just didn't because I'm really into writing in journals. So I could tell high quality paper. I could tell a high quality pen. So I just wanted to lean into it because, like I said, I was in the perfect place to just like try to do the things I want to do without any commitment. I had, significant amount of savings because I was like, I don't know what I'm, gonna do, but I was like, I have a cushion, I have the time, might as well do it. So I'm like, I'm gonna make cards as well. Why not?
Well, and that's part of the psychology of the whole package. It's the bag, it's the card, it's the gift. And so what did you find when studying cards? Because it seems like in the industry there's, easy, cheap cards. And then there's the super expensive, I forget what they're called, the luxury, well, it's not luxury, but there's
Papyrus?
Yeah, papyrus.
Yeah.
And they're like $10 cards or something, and they're like heavy. And
Yeah.
so it's just the two extremes. But there does seem to be an appetite for cards of higher quality because they are meaningful. That does matter.
Yes.
So what did you find?
So I found that people really love, and also just like studying myself, what did I like? I kind of based everything about what do I like if I
Sure.
was a customer, because you essentially need to, represent, like I need to justify it. So what's my justification? But I always could tell like a little flimsy card, and I never wanted to save them. I would save them for what it said inside, but like the art never stood out to me outside, or it wasn't a very, appealing card for me. So I just wanted to make something beautiful, kind of like a piece of art that you have. And then with the whole brand of intentionality, I just wanted people to take the moment to actually write something meaningful, because you'll have a piece of art you can display proudly, and then also a really beautiful note inside. So everything is very cohesive. It's just like a beautiful card and a beautiful note that you can save forever.
Yeah. And so you have the card and the bag. And what else? I remember before we sat down, you were showing me your bag and you were talking about the handles. The way
Oh,
you
right.
held it.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of money on just the prototypes,
Yeah.
and they got expensive. Let me tell you, it's like $100 a bag, 200 sometimes.
Where do you make them? Like, how do you?
I had to source them in China. China was the only place I was able to do them. And I had gone through maybe 5 manufacturers, maybe more. And I would send the design to everybody, and I would get something back, and it wouldn't be anything remotely close to what I wanted. There was always some type of issue that I would run into, and it was so discouraging just because you would take so long to communicate. I was up early in the morning because of the time difference, and
Yep.
this was the only time I could communicate. And so I got them done, and like it was just L after L after L. Like it was very discouraging. I wanted to quit so bad because I'm
They
just
couldn't
like,
get it right.
they couldn't get it right. And it was hard for me to kind of get to where I wanted it to be. And it was everything from, the paper quality to like the ribbon. The ribbon, they only had like a certain like standard. Like if you want to make a gift bag for or just like a shopping bag for the manufacturers, it's just your basic, I want this paper and I want this ribbon and I want this because it's very simple. So when I would tell them what I'm trying to make, they just looked at me like, I mean, not looked at me, but they would think I'm crazy because it's never been done. And they're like, well, you need a minimum order of like 5,000. I'm like, 5,000 like of each. Yeah, of each design. And I want a small, medium, and large size. So it's like, I don't have space for 15,000 bags or that type of money. Like I just don't have
and
that.
you're still trying to get it right.
Yeah.
So how do you know? Yeah.
It was really hard. So a lot of people would say, no, they can't do the design, or because, it would sometimes cost the company just to make it. Just a one-off or just a low quantity, it wouldn't benefit them. So a lot of them told me no, because I just wanted to start out like 200, 500, and that was a lot. So I was really discouraged just because I couldn't find the place that could do it or the design. It wasn't ready, and I just didn't feel comfortable just putting this out into the world and being like, this is mine.
But eventually you found the right manufacturer. You got a prototype that you were and are happy with. Yeah.
Finally, after I think it took like a year and a half, almost 2 years. Yeah, it's a really long time. Maybe it wasn't supposed to take that long, but it just did for me. I don't know why.
It's
but
your first time going through, it takes what it takes.
Yeah, and my husband, he's an entrepreneur as well, so he's gone through this, and he's just like seeing me, just like, it's part of it. I'm like, fuck this, excuse my language, but I just did not want, to endure that, pain. But he's like, you just have to keep trying, keep going.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Can we see the bag that you brought for people that are watching? So this is, what color would you say that bag is? It's like
this would be like a cream bag.
A cream. And is that a good neutral color?
Yeah.
For a gift bag?
This is a cute little color.
And is this like a medium or a large?
This one's a medium.
A medium.
Yeah,
and
we're changing the name on I think we're doing like the large is going to be called Grand.
Oh, so, I like that.
And I think the medium is just like the classic, size.
Yes. And okay, so it says happy birthday. So this is like an example of what it would, of obviously a birthday gift bag. And and then the ribbon is.
So that one
this is really, okay, so this feels really sturdy.
Yeah, that's the thickest paper they could possibly do without tearing. So I always made that a point that I don't want it to. So with a lot of birthday bags or just bags in general, they'll be sturdy from the top. You'll feel it, but that's because there's a huge amount of support on the top, and the rest of the paper is very, very thin. And that one is just thick all around. So the intention behind that was that you can regift it, so you can give it to your wife, and then your wife can give it to somebody else, because a lot of bags, they get wrinkled and they're in the trash.
Right. And when we had our baby shower, I mean, we saved all the bags, right? And some of my friends are getting gifts with, babies on the gift bag. But, So yeah, this feels really sturdy. And then this ribbon. So tell me about this ribbon, because this is really.
So that ribbon was actually not the one that's going to be on there. I think the actual ribbon is inside. So that ribbon is giving, the one on the bag is giving JanSport backpack for anybody.
This is the one right here. This is the ribbon. Oh, okay. So I can see. So the one on the bag, it feels good. And it would seem fine to me, but then holding the material, the ribbon that you want to replace it with, that's going to actually be on the bag, it is really soft.
Yeah.
Now there's no comparison.
Yeah. You can off the bat, you can feel the difference. Like the first one is fine, but like I said, it's giving JanSport backpack, and I'm not.
JanSport backpack.
Yeah, and I'm not
now I can't unfeel it.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's so funny, because I thought that was fine the first time. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then my friend came in and I was like, oh, these are the bags. And she's like, this is kind of like JanSport backpack, right? And I'm like,
ruined it down,
can't unsee it. So I was on the hunt for the perfect ribbon, and nobody had it. Absolutely nobody had it. I had to source another manufacturer to get that specific ribbon to add it on there. So they're shipping it to my manufacturer, and my manufacturer's going to add it to the bag.
It's a big difference.
Everything's very thought out. Like,
it is.
And even you can tell that there's no crease. Normally there's a crease down the line, but I did not want to do that. So you can crease it like it's a new type of fold that they're doing. You have to just like get the little flap on the bottom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like
So
this?
it's, yeah. So there's a little like, piece of cardboard in the middle. So you just like pop it up and then it folds down the middle.
Oh, so it's a new way to fold it. And what does that do? Why
Just
is that
because I
important?
hated the line down the center. So I was like,
Aesthetic.
how can we avoid this at any cost? So.
And is there anything to the color of a gift bag? Because I noticed this is a very like pleasant feeling. You said it's like cream. So it's like, not white, but it's like kind of a neutral in the eyes. How do you feel about colors?
I love colors. I actually just bought a book about just color theory and what colors go together. That one's just going to be the OG very first bag, but I love the color combination. But like I said, I like to play on what intentionality and what you like. So what's your favorite color? Sorry.
Probably blue.
So blue. If I have the color blue, I'm going to get you a blue bag just so that it's not just, one and done type of thing. And also the cards too, they're going to have like a complimentary card that will go with the bag perfectly.
Yeah, I was going to say so every step is some sort of reflection of the person's personality or interest. Yeah. Okay. I'm like, this is really cool.
Yeah, it's all really intentional. Like
intentional. That's a good word. And I noticed at the bottom, so very good company. So I love that name, which is your first name. And then you have a QR code here.
Yeah. So that's my company, but it's called changing it to Very Good Things.
Very Good
just
Things.
To play on my name.
Yes.
I love puns. Like I can't.
No, it's a great name.
I would have been so mad if I just didn't go with it. But yeah, Very Good Things. And there's a QR code that's going to lead you to the website because I don't really want it to be in like big retail stores because I know that's when the intentionality kind of goes away. Like I need to sell 500,000. Like I just want this to go to like people that actually value taking the time, not just, oh, let's go right into the store, get a whatever bag. It's just like you took the time to pick one for me. And I know it's a very, specific client that I'm targeting, but that's the point of the bag. The bag is that, I gave it to Brandon, you gave it to your wife. Your wife is going to give it to somebody else. If she wants it, she's going to scan that QR code. It's going to take her to the website.
And then she can buy a handful of gift bags herself.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Thank you.
And I'm noticing now, I put the bag on the side of the chair, and the way it's just standing up, I mean, that's a really sturdy bag. I'm just admiring.
I'm like, it's like my child. Like, she's really good. It took me so long. I'm just admiring
the craft.
Thank you. Yeah.
And so, let's say that I've found the perfect gift for my wife, put it in the bag. What about like tissue paper or like, how do I wrap it?
Yeah.
What are your feelings on that?
I think so. Also behind the bag, I just wanted to make a piece of art, like just so it can be a standalone bag. And I think it does that. But I've also recently started looking at tissue paper because I've noticed just like everything is just so made poorly. Like everything is like transparent now. And like I could see the gift. What are you trying to hide? So I kind of wanted to make a little bit more high quality tissue paper. And obviously it'll wrinkle, but it's just going to be a lot higher quality. But also I just want it to be like a standalone gift that can just kind of like stand out of everybody else. But also I was looking at wrapping paper. I just bought wrapping paper. And also it's just so you can cut through it and it's just like tears everywhere. I'm just like, where's the value in just craftsmanship and quality? It's just like
cheap. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like people try to spend time thinking of a gift and then there's no thought on how it's presented. It's just whatever they have.
I mean, the hardest part was trying to find the gift. And
Yes. And now on the bag itself, it says happy birthday on both sides. Are you having other bags that will say either nothing or like happy anniversary, or what are you thinking?
I'm thinking, first these are going to be launched, but then the other ones that I have in mind are going to say just because.
Just because.
Because there's always times where I just want to give something to somebody and I just can't find something. So it's like a just because gift, but also you kind of just say it in the bag. It's like, just because, here you go.
It's self-explanatory.
Yeah, exactly.
And is that like, is there something behind the psychology of giving a gift outside of a holiday. Like everyone expects, you know, your Valentine's, your anniversary, but just because gift is like a perfect excuse to just surprise.
Yeah.
someone.
Those are my favorite gifts.
Right? It
Because
kind of
it's
is.
just, again, it's, I thought of you and here's something for you. And, you know, I think it's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And once you start flexing that muscle, you can't get away from it. You want to get stuff for everybody.
Because it makes people feel good.
And you can just see people's just eyes light up and, you know, make them feel really good.
And so your ideal lineup of bags, you'll have a couple different sizes, you know, small, medium, large, but with maybe different names. And then bags that will say just because, maybe happy birthday, something like that, different
congrats,
colors.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So the hardest part was making this cute little thing.
Yes.
So after that, we can have a lot more fun. This was the most stressful part, but I'm planning on going to China probably and seeing everything that they have in the factory because there's only so much you can do just, you know, through WhatsApp and just calling on the phone and like just seeing all the paper that they have.
And do you have a timeline of when they would be available?
Yeah, they're going to be launched this year.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm getting the shipment. I actually just placed the order not too long ago. So they're actually being made right now.
Okay, good.
And it should take, what they said, like 3 months, maybe a little bit more. So you have to plan the whole launch and all the branding behind it. So it's really exciting. And it's funny because I had the intention of these bags being like part of Neiman Marcus because I worked there for a little bit. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I intentionally got a job at Neiman Marcus as their gift curator just to study the luxury industry because
I love that. You're like a spy on the inside.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm like, okay, well, how do I make this a luxury high-end product? And I was just like, well, there's only one way to do this. So I applied for the job. They gave it to me. And I help people kind of source gifts for different occasions, different price ranges. And I would see how we would wrap them, study how different brands would have me. Like there's very particular, like Baccarat, which is a crystal company. They have a specific way where they make their bows. So it's not just your regular bow. It's like very detailed, and the rep comes in to show you how to properly wrap all the stuff. And so I just studied everything. I even like recorded. I'm like, can you just do that one more time? And I would just record how they would do it.
So even the way that they would tie the bow is a signature to their company.
Yeah, and all their stuff is over thousands and thousands of dollars. So it's like you're spending that intentional time to get it right. It just, you know, it all adds to the luxury aspect. Even wrapping their gifts.
Yeah.
I would record how they would wrap their gifts. I would record how they would put the tissue paper inside and just study everything. And even if there was a client there that, like, let's say they were spending a lot of money, but I didn't like their attitude, there was no way I would tell them, like, I'm making a bag. Can I send you one?
Oh.
But if there was a client who was really sweet and, you know, just was actually intentionally trying to find something, I would pitch to them like, hey, I'm making a bag, a very luxury bag, and I would love for you to have it. Can I have your phone number and your address?
You would ask that of customers?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I mean, I'm sure it was like frowned upon, but
You were just there to get in and get out.
Yeah, I was like, I don't give a shit. It's fine.
What would they say to you?
They would be really open to it. And I'm excited for me to get them because it's been like months since I've been there. So I'm sure they'll be really excited.
Yeah. And so what did you learn about the luxury market from your time at Neiman Marcus?
I learned that a lot of people, they think that they can just like pick the most luxurious, expensive thing. And it's like not about that. At least for me, it's like not about that. Like I created a gifting blog, and there's a lot of high ticket things, but I actually go into detail because people just think like it's the most expensive thing that makes this high quality, but that's not 100% true.
You mean they go for like bigger or shiny or more expensive, and that's a good gift.
Yeah.
And you're all about, is it personal?
Yeah.
Does it mean anything to them?
I'm like, well, is this their favorite color? Like, no, it just, you know, it's expensive. Like, okay, I would sway them a different way, but they just wanted the higher ticket.
Some people are just stubborn like that. And it's almost like it makes them feel good if they know that they bought or maybe can buy the most expensive, or maybe that's something that they would say to that person, like it's the most expensive one that they have.
Yeah, a lot of people would do that.
Right? So price point is like a bragging
Yeah.
right in some, huh?
Yeah, I would see it a lot.
You would.
Mm-hmm.
And and interesting. What are some other observations you had about those kinds of wealthy clientele?
A lot of them, well, that's the thing. A lot of them were just about the money, but a lot of them also have, I mean, we're all human. A lot of people really want that intimate moment. And even when I would ask them questions about themselves, they would just spark an interest and just like telling me that's like something that they're looking forward to, not just who they're giving it to, but just themselves. And just, it kind of reiterated what I'm going for as a brand, just intentionality, getting to know the person. And, you know, a lot of the times you think wealthy people are super snotty and they're rude, but they're not. They're really sweet. And some people are about intention and getting something really sweet and meaningful. And some people are just like, no, I don't really care. Just give me what's most expensive.
Would you find that it seems like probably most people think they're going about it the right way, or they think they're giving a great gift, and they just don't know another way to think. And so that's where you come in to say, hey, we could kind of reframe this idea of giving someone a gift.
Yeah. And so that's where I kind of built that branding of just intentionality. And in my blog, you'll have a lot of different, you know, insights like to help you, guide you to get the right gift. And also when I was in Neiman, I would help all the clients that would come in. And even like now I will still get people that are like, hey, can you help me? And they'll pay me for it. So it's awesome that they just really need help. Sometimes people just need that extra, you know, guidance on what to get.
They don't know what they don't know. They think they're doing it right.
Exactly. And it's crazy because never would have ever thought like this would have been something that I was going to do. Like if you tell my younger self, like you're going to be doing this, be like, okay, what is that? Sure.
So you're talking about your blog. What kind of resource is that for people? What are you writing about to help them?
So I try to find, so initially I was just trying to find different things that you could give people, like for the man, for a woman, for, you know, whatever. And then I started to get very specific, like for the baker, for the gym, you know, or coffee addict, like certain things. I just try to make it so easy for people that it's just like, all I know about Brandon is that he loves coffee. Okay, perfect.
True.
Here are 16 different gifts from $20 to $5,000 that you can use or that you can buy, and they will remember that you got this for them.
And where are you finding these ideas?
Just research. I'll like look through everything from Google to TikTok to Instagram through Pinterest. Like I will try to find things that you wouldn't normally find, because I mean, if you find the same things over and over again on different websites and stuff, of course somebody's going to give it to them eventually, but you want something that's just like, I would have never thought to get this, but I love it, you know?
And that's what you're helping people find, is that gift that will kind of surprise the person, and it's like specificity, and also it's not something that is going to be super common. So what else? Tell me more about your blog and how you've broken down the categories, because I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to this.
Yeah. So normally I'll definitely do one every single month based on somebody's zodiac sign for sure. And then in between, I'll just kind of like just think of somebody's interest, and then just dive deep into it, and then kind of break it down into different categories, like skincare, if they're into, you know, a certain face mask, or like LED, here are the top, you know, my top picks at least. You don't have to like them, but here are 4 options. And if they're into skincare, but they also want to find like, I don't know, a really nice moisturizer, here's some really luxurious ones that you can find.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
And it takes you straight to the link. So you don't have to like type it in Google. It just takes you right where you need to go.
And so this is you kind of, you know, putting on a lot of hats again, where you're like, okay, what gifts would a baker like, or a coffee addict, or, you know, a guy or girl who's like a gym rat, or different signs. And so you're really having to kind of, you know, just put yourself in the shoes of so many other, but that's just something that comes to you naturally.
I think that's just me. Now that you're saying it, I'm like, I guess
paying attention to people and putting it out there for us to benefit from. So So we've talked about like gifts for individuals, but what about for like I'm thinking like housewarming or weddings where it's like you're kind of for two people. How do you suggest approaching that kind of thing?
So I kind of do the same thing as far as like kind of breaking it down because like for a housewarming, for example, there's so many different ways you can go. Like, but also, like I said, I want you to stand out. So it's kind of like thinking, what's everyone else going to get them that they're probably not going to get?
Yeah, what are some common
Yeah.
gifts to stay away from?
Definitely the signs, anything that has a sign like bathroom or whatever, kitchen here.
My wife hates that.
Live laugh.
Hates that
Oh
stuff.
no, do
Anything
not.
with letters and
No,
kitchen.
do not do that.
Just like we're not doing that.
Yeah, you definitely want to do like a really nice high quality set of like knives, or like a really nice blender, something that they can use every day, and just like it's very useful. It's not just like a plant.
Right.
Everyone's gonna give them a plant, that.
Yeah,
That's
and ratchet up the quality a little bit. Like it's not just a set of knives, but a nice set of knives. Something that's a little stand apart.
Or even you can even do like something small about it, just kind of like or a family photo album or something like that. But not just like a photo album. You're gonna write their last name, get it engraved or something. You can add small things that they're gonna keep forever. That's just like, oh my God. Wow, this is so nice.
So that kind of gift, like a photo album, but personalize it. Add a little touch of something that you did for them.
And I know it's like asking you to go a little bit, go out of your way. But if you don't love them, then why wouldn't you go out of your way to kind of do something like that?
Well, no, I'm imagining now, like if we were to get that, like, that feels different.
Their last name and like established and then the year.
You go, wow. That's the kind of thing that causes you to pause and go like,
exactly.
Wow, that's really cool. And then just talking about it is like, that is definitely something that would help you just stand apart from the other gifts.
And that's what I wanted. It's like the same thing with everything. The bag, it's going to make you stand apart. The gift is going to make you like, and if that's not on brand for you, then that's okay. You don't have to do any of the things that I'm telling you to do. But if you want to stand out and just be different, then do it.
Yeah. And what about the rules around a wedding?
A wedding? Obviously no gift cards. At least for me, just because like, if I'm going to give a hefty gift card, like I want you to know that it was for me. A $500 gift card, and they're like, I don't know who gave this to me. So
right, that's true. There's no credit after. Yeah, we talked about that. There's no credit after you open all of them.
The hard-earned like cash that you had to work for, and you're just like, oh, I don't remember, So I try to stay away from gift cards as much as possible. But like I said, it's always the small touches of something that, they will want to keep it for a really long time. Like for the wedding, something engraved for sure. It's very luxurious to me and just something that you would always want to keep. Like an engraved custom like champagne flutes or something like that. You can get that done super easy. Or like some knives. Maybe not. But yeah, I would definitely keep away from those gift cards. I mean, a lot of people want cash now, but also I feel like that's not really memorable. Like I could find something that you're gonna love.
Are there any like holidays that you think are kind of underrated for gift giving?
That's a good question. St. Patrick's Day? I'm kidding.
Here's a pint engraved with your name.
Yeah, here you go. No, I don't really think that there's any like missed opportunity. Like, and I want to give credit probably to my parents because they would always give us gifts. And I'm thinking about it now just because Valentine's Day happened not too long ago. And I just remember growing up and every single year they would give us something in a little bag. And then they would just like give us candies that we currently like or like little Valentine's Day cards. So I guess I always grew up with the love language of gifting. That's how we would all kind of show how much we care about each other. So I'm pretty sure that's the reason why I'm into gift giving and want to like give somebody a moment. Like, and all my siblings are the same way. We will buy each other something small, like I thought of you, or just something custom, like I thought of you. And it's just.
I'm curious if you're willing to share, what's the most thoughtful gift that you've been given?
I would say my brother gave me the cover of my children's book, the very, very first draft that I wasn't even like close to being done, but he gifted me this. He illustrated the cover of it, and he got it sent to, I think it was like Shutterfly or something, and he just like made a mock-up of the book, and I was just like in tears, like, oh my God.
I mean, that's so personal,
Yeah.
right? And so your book. So could you tell me what is the title of your book? And you have the cover here,
Yeah.
right?
So my book.
Oh, yes.
So my book is called A Day Without Fear.
A Day Without Fear. Yes.
That's cute little Olivia. She's a little otter. So initially she was like a little girl in the cover, but I just love otters. And I just kind of outgrew that version of the story, the very, very first one that I did. I outgrew it. And so basically the story is about Olivia, who goes to school, and she doesn't know how to feel. And all of a sudden she's mixed with like a bunch of emotions, fear, excitement. She doesn't really know. And then out appears Fear, and Fear's like, I'm here to take care of you. And she's like, okay, sure. So Fear is with her the whole day, and she's like about to raise her hand, but then Fear goes, no, don't raise your hand. You might say the wrong thing. And then she's like, yeah, thank you. And she goes to the playground, and she's about to slide down the slide, and she goes, no, like, you might get hurt. Don't do that. And you're like, you're right. You're really taking care of me. Like, thanks, Fear. So she goes about her day, and she does all of the things. And then as days go by, she realizes that, she's not doing a lot of things that she wants to do. Fear is holding her back from doing the things that she wants to do. And she doesn't really like that. So she does something really brave one day, and she leaves Fear behind. And she's really excited again, but then also she goes back to those scary feelings of like, I don't know what to do. I've never gone a day without fear. So then out of nowhere appears Faith. And then Faith is like, I'm here to take care of you. She's like, hold on. I've heard this story before. Like, what's going on? She's like, no, I'm here to cheer you on and do the things that you really want to do. So Faith pushes her to do the things that she really wants to do. So then she'll go down the slide. And she's scared at first, but she's like, no, it'll be okay. And then she raises her hand, and she's like, oh my God, I'm really enjoying to do all these things. So she goes back home, and she tells Fear about everything that went on, and she has to decide who she wants to bring. But then she decides to bring both Fear and Faith to school. And so the next day she learns how to use Fear, how to use Faith, because Fear also protects you. It like, don't cross the street, you're going to get ran over. But also Faith, you need it to push you to do the things that you really want to do. So you really need both in life. And initially, the very first draft, I was like, fear is gone. You can't have fear. Like, you just have to have faith. But that's just not how life is. You need fear to protect you from like people or things. And you need faith all the time just to like get you to where you want to go.
I love that story.
Thank you.
I love it. I think it's so great. A Day Without Fear. And then learning that you need fear. Fear, at first, you would feel that fear. Oh, this is great. Thanks for helping me. You realize you're not going to do anything in life if all you have is fear. Mm-hmm. It takes faith, but fear is also a good thing sometimes. And so I think that's beautiful. I love that story. I feel like having listened to you talk about your life experience so far, this is you. I mean, just going to New York, all that fear, right? Crying every day. How are you going to get through it? But you use brave to describe this girl, but you also use brave to describe yourself.
Yeah.
And just living with faith and fear, and which we all do, but you just
put
being
it all,
really aware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it all in a story. And I really write all the stories that I do mostly so I had told you that I really like shorts. Shorts always get to me. For some reason, I'm like, I know they're for kids, but they always get to me. So I just kind of had that like itch to write something for kids, but I want it for adults because we always need that message.
As someone who works in children's animation, so there's always like every show has like a fear of the dark kind of story. And so, but one thing like working at Disney, they talk about is like not to have the kids say like if he's afraid of the dark, it's like, oh, I'm not afraid of the dark anymore. I'm okay now. Don't say that because you're going to get scared of the dark the next night. But it's now I know what to do when I get scared of the dark. So it's learning to live with fear. It's wrong to say, I'm not afraid anymore, because that's not realistic. And so I just love that. That just reminded me, this book feels like it has that realism of a child learning fear is good, but also faith is good. And you need both.
Yeah.
So I just think that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
What is the timeline for this book?
That one will be released probably October, November.
October, November. Okay,
Of this
great.
year, yeah.
I think it would make a great gift for someone,
Exactly.
right?
Christmas gift.
Yes.
Or a Thanksgiving gift.
Right?
I don't know.
Or just because.
Or just
Come on. Just because.
because.
This is something I ask every guest. It's called the rule I break. Every industry has rules. Some are there for a reason, and some are just begging to be broken. So what's a rule in your field that you don't follow or believe in?
Could this be just like for all the different careers?
Sure.
I would say a rule I break is to like just stay in one lane. That just didn't work out for me. And for so long, I just thought that was so bad, so frowned upon, just because I would see everybody else like they're staying in one lane and they don't go left or right. They just stay here. And I'm like, why do you keep going left, right, side? Is like, this is chaotic. But I'm just like embracing it at this point that I'm passionate about a lot of things, and it's okay that they're just all happening and unfolding at different times, but it's okay just because I just feel like I don't want to like die and know that I didn't try to do the things that I did, because I mean, I'm sure you've had nudges before that you're just like, I mean, I'm sure for this podcast, you're like, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. And
I'm
it's
tired
just
of
like,
thinking about it. And, who cares what happened? Just like, I heard this great phrase this past weekend. It's just do the work and stay out of the results. And it's like, because if you think too much about the results, that can paralyze you.
oh, for
So
sure.
just do it. Just start.
Yeah.
And I feel like, with what you just said, you're a long way from like those accounting classrooms, right? And that's good for you that you changed lanes, because, that doesn't sound so hot right now compared
And a lot
to
of
what
people
you've
think
been
that's
doing.
like frowned upon. At least I did. I was just like, I keep switching things. Like, what is wrong with me? But it's nothing wrong. Like, you just like a lot of things, and you're embracing it, and everything's coming to life, and the rewards are coming. So it's totally fine.
Before we go, I always like to end with a rapid fire round. So just first thing that comes to mind.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
What's the last book you read?
The last book I read is called Grit by Angela Duckworth, I believe. It's basically about, and it's perfect timing just because you need grit in order to just achieve the things that you want to do. And you just need to keep chipping away as much as you don't want to, as much as the bags don't come exactly how you want. You will end up exactly where you need to be.
That sounds like a book great for you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was exactly what I needed when I was just about to quit.
What's a movie you love rewatching?
Oh, The Grinch. I'm not sure.
The Grinch.
Thanks to my mom.
Well, if it wasn't this, what's another career field that you could see yourself in?
Oh, shoot. Okay, so if it's not TV, if it's not a children's book, if it's not gift giving, probably a teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what I initially, I love the kids. I just want to be a, positive light for them. And if I can do that, I think my job is done.
What's the worst piece of advice you've ever received?
The worst piece of advice I've ever received, be realistic.
Yeah.
Every time I was realistic, it just didn't work out for me. Like when I was delusional that things just would work out for me. It's just like, just go up to, the person and tell them what you want to do. Because if I was realistic, it's like, I can never talk to this person. They're just like way up here and I'm down here. I can't or just, in life, it just never worked out for me being realistic.
And what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
The best piece of advice would be probably, if it scares you, run towards it. That's what the story producer told me before I went to New York. When I called him too, I was like, Ryan, I don't know if I should do this. And he's like, well, does it scare you? I'm like, I'm dying over here. He's like, well, run towards it. You're going to grow so much. And I've just kind of taken that all the time with me.
Where can people find you or find your work?
So a lot of places. So you can find my blog and all the bags and cards, verygoodthings.com. I also have my Instagram handle, same thing. And then my personal is just Viri_Maldonado. So you can chat. I'm a lot more loose on that one.
Ask you some gift questions. Help.
Yeah. If you have any questions, literally just message me. I will send you a bunch of options.
That's awesome. And well, this was such a pleasure talking to you, Viri. And I've come away inspired and looking at just the idea of gift giving a totally different way. And I think that's just so cool. So thank you for doing that and coming on and sharing your story.
Awesome. Yeah. If you need any help, message me. I will send you all the recs.
Thank
for
you.
sure. Yeah.